Good afternoon, I am Gribbly. You are witnessing my ongoing folly. And today, I'm going to answer all the questions that I've gotten from you pipers and preppers out there about what is in my bug out bag. But first, a fish. First, the housekeeping for the pipers out there. I'm smoking my Missouri Meerschaum Stubby with a mixture of Cornell & Deal's Dark Fired Kentucky, HH Old Dark Fired, and Solani Virginia Flake with Perique. Now for the preppers out there, I'm sorry, I lied. This is not a bug out bag. I will not be bugging out. I am overweight and out of shape. My wife is not a marathon runner. She's just an average person. She goes on less hiking adventures than I do. We have a disabled child. All our stores are at home. Our armory is at home. Why would we ever leave? I don't understand it. But I keep my stuff in a backpack in case I have to walk a little bit if my car gets stuck in the snow, right? This is like convenience oriented, not like I'm going to strap this onto my fat ass and go around like fixed bayonet trying to kill zombies. I don't even call it a bug out bag. I call it a ready bag. It's a bag full of stuff that keeps me ready for things that might come up in my life, things that have come up in my life. Now, my life has been a little more exciting than most, but I try to keep this bag pretty tame. I don't have an AR-15 in this bag. I don't even have a handgun in this bag. I don't have a freaking machete or an axe or anything like that. I know there's preppers out there that are going nuts when I say that. But here's the deal. As preppers, we're not doing our lobby any good by appearing to be insane. And there's plenty of people out there like me that keep a little bit of extra gear in the back of their car and wouldn't even consider themselves preppers because they think of preppers as the folks walking around with their rifles. Add to that, of course, our media. Anytime they have a chance to do a story about preppers, they're not going to pick people like me. They're going to pick the guy with his pants around his ankles beating an Obama piñata with a rolled up copy of Guns and Ammo. So I prep for things that I have experienced. I prep for things that I might reasonably experience. I prep for a few things that I probably won't reasonably experience. And then I let the rest go. I am okay. I am okay dying because I didn't prep for a paratrooper invasion from Portugal or something like that. I'm okay with that. Didn't see it coming. You know, a nuke drops on my house. It's just my time to go. So this is just stuff to get me through the rest of my life. And here it is. The bag itself is an LL Bean Continental rucksack from the late 90s. I know it's not the latest and greatest assault pack or whatever, but it works fine. And I used this bag all through late high school and college, actually, and it's really held up. I've taken it on many camping trips. So this entire outfit weighs 17.6 pounds, and that's with the food and water that's in it. I can definitely hike around with that as long as I can hike around with anything. I went on a hike yesterday for about 5 hours, and I am hurting today. But I had no problem managing it. Now, that was a slightly lighter pack than this one, but I still had a pack on my shoulders. I don't know how I could get this one any lighter. And again, my plan is not to be on foot if I ever need to use this stuff. That's why it stays in the back of my car, because usually I'll be using it out of my car. However, if I did have to hike, I keep an extra pair of shoes in the car, and I also keep a set of heavy winter clothing in the car. And so that's sort of the stuff that isn't in the bag that I include in the loadout. I've also got a bunch of car gear, a spare jug of oil and stuff like that. And I've got I've got my Spetsnaz shovel in the car. I've got a basic entrenching tool, chopping tool, that sort of thing. I got a crowbar. That sort of stuff, and that to me is like a car kit, not a bag. So anyway, let's get into this thing, shall we? The outer pockets, there are two of them on the sides here. They both contain 1 liter bottles of Smart Water. It's very simple. You get it at the grocery store. It's called bottled water. I would love to have. For years I wanted the Dave Canterbury system of having like a metal container with which to boil water, blah, 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 all that. But what I find is if I put some sealed water bottles in my damn pack. I've got, this is enough water for me for at least 24 hours, depending on what I'm doing. And it's so cool, in fact, that I can't get the snap closed now, and I'm kind of embarrassed about that. But the point being, I have 2 of them, 2 liters. If somebody needs a bottle of water, I can just give them one of mine. You know, in most normal situations, that'll be just fine. If I'm really in trouble, I have a water filter that interfaces directly with these bottles. If Dave Canterbury made a metal bottle with an opening that would fit my my water filter, then I would do that. But until then, I think I think the weight savings of having plastic water bottles and the convenience factor of being able to give someone a bottle of water, or just being able to open one yourself and know that the other one is still sealed, I think that outweighs being able to boil water in the field. Opening up the pack, the first thing we find on the very top inside is my first aid kit. And I'm actually going to be adding a piece. This is something I've been meaning to add for a while. I'm going to be adding to this kit today some basic generic anti-diarrheal medicine. It's like Imodium AD, the generic of that. This stuff is worth its weight in gold if you're shitting your brains out. And dehydration from shitting your brains out is definitely a killer. It's a real problem if you're in any sort of situation. And also, I got a 4-year-old kid, man. He brings home stomach bugs all the time. I never know when I might be out and about and all of a sudden feel some rumblings. You might need this stuff. So that's the first thing in the kit. The rest of the kit, that in there. The rest of the kit looks like this. So on top, I have a spare set of eyeglasses in case I lose mine and have to drive home. I have, in this little pocket here, I have some Afrin No Drip, the nasal cavity opener-upper, which sometimes for me can be requisite to get a good night's sleep if I've got a cold or something like that. I got a toothbrush cut in half and a little travel size thing of toothpaste. I have some deodorant. Again, I'm not fighting zombies. I might just need to be presentable when I show up to a meeting or something. I have some Natural Care wipes. Instead of toilet paper, I have these. I think these are way more versatile, and they work. I have an Israeli bandage. This bandage, I am told, can soak up more blood than the body can contain or something like that. It's just a basic trauma field dressing. I've never had to use one, thank God, but I have opened up a couple of these and tried them out just to make sure I know how. And yeah, I put one of these in pretty much all my kits. Good stuff. So then I have the guts from a basic Red Cross first aid kit. And I've done a little bit of adding and subtracting, but it's got, you know, your Band-Aids, it's got your single-use sanitizers and antibiotics, your gauze pads, and I threw in some earplugs in case I ever go to a concert and realize I forgot my earplugs. I got some of my first aid kit. That has happened to me. And finally, I have a cigar bag full of N95 masks in case I'm ever in a forest fire or other situation where I might need to breathe some filtered air. The rest of the main pocket is pretty boring, really. Next, we have a Shemagh scarf, many uses in the field, and an emergency rain poncho, heavy duty, in case, you know, I can get a downpour. Definitely have had to use my rain ponchos. We'll put this aside for... No, we'll go ahead and get to it. This is the only food in the bag. This is an SOS emergency food ration. 3,600 calories of goodness right here. I've never eaten one. I really should open this up and eat it and order another one. But the reason I carry this as food instead of just a bunch of power bars is because I eat the power bars. I eat the power bars, and this is $10, right? This thing is $10 on Amazon, and it's all super sealed, and that is a good deterrent. I'm not going to just open this up and gnaw on it. I bet it tastes terrible, and so that's why I keep one of these. It's heavy, but I mean power bars are heavy too. And so instead of multiple individual single-serving things, I keep this giant thing, and I figured that would get me through a day or two. So that's the only food in the bag. Next up, this is my my shelter system here. I have a giant-ass, heavy-duty, reflective space blanket thing. Can't remember where I got this, but I've used it to good effect in the past. I have camped under this thing. It's reflective on one side and red on the other, as you can see. And for a ground cloth, I just have a basic 7mm plastic sheet. A whole bunch of paracord. This is the 225 paracord, not the 550, because if I'm making a shelter out of something that weighs more than 225 pounds, I'm doing it wrong. And finally, the only quasi-weapon in the entire bag is my Glock 78 field knife. These things, this would not be my preferred blade if I were living in the woods, skinning deer, that sort of thing. However, it would be my preferred blade for 90% of other things. There are plenty of torture tests on YouTube of people like breaking apart cinder block walls with these knives. They're super duper durable, and that more than precise sharpness is really what I think you need in a bag that's prepared to get you through lots of emergencies. If I had to go through a door, I would rather have this than my Mora Companion, which is way, way sharper. I have put this knife through a lot of abuse, as you can probably see, and it's still super solid. And it's decently sharp. It's decently sharp. But again, not something you would want to skin an animal with. However, if I had to, like, I don't know, stab this between the chinks in a wall and like hoist myself up, I would have no problem doing that with this knife. Now, I would have a problem doing that because I don't have the upper body strength, but this knife would hold up. Everything else in the main pocket is clothes. Extra shirt, extra cargo pants, extra underwear and socks, a fleece hoodie. I'm not going to get it all out because you can go look at your own clothes. They're just clothes. And the reason the strategy with which I choose the clothes is stuff that if I had to, I could wear to a business meeting, but I could also wear it outdoors. And that way, if I'm out somewhere and my kid pukes on my shirt, I can just put on another shirt and still probably be presentable unless I'm going to like a wedding or something. Or if I'm out in the woods, I don't actually own any like fancy adventure clothes. So this stuff would be just fine compared to the other clothes I got. You know, if I won the lottery, I would probably have more adventure specific clothes in here, but for now they'll be just fine. So that brings us to the fun pocket, right? The one on front, and this is where you put all the really nice like prepper gear. First, we have some damn gloves. These are very lightweight work gloves. They're very durable. I've used these gloves. You can buy, a pair of three for like $12 or whatever. Work gloves are essential. And like, for example, if there's a tree down over the road and you have to clear it, you're going to want some gloves. Next up in this pocket, my Sawyer Mini water filter. And this is the one that can interface with these water bottles. If I don't have a water bottle, I can actually drink straight out of a mud puddle with it. Good for 100,000 gallons. If I have to drink 100,000 gallons, I've got bigger problems. Next, this is my basic electronics box. I think the only thing in here actually now is a phone charger. This is a USB charger that fits my phone, and this sees a lot of use when I'm traveling or anything like that. At the bottom of this pocket, I have the two tools that I think would probably get me through most situations. I have a very bright flashlight. This is just a cheap Amazon Cree flashlight. I think they're something like $3, and they use just a standard AA battery. I want a flashlight that can use batteries I can find at a gas station, not one of those fancy, Candle Power Forums battery. And then I have a Gerber suspension multi-tool. It's like this. I think it's the second cheapest Gerber multi-tool option. It's not very light. It's not very sexy. It just has a lot of tools on it. I think it would work fine. I've never really had to use it. But I used to carry around like an actual tool kit, like I had a screwdriver and a wrench and all that. Too heavy, too awkward. You got to keep it all together. This thing works a lot better, and it was like $25-30. So that brings me to the part that I'm really excited about. Let me relight my pipe and I'll show you. I used to have all this stuff dispersed throughout the pack. Terrible idea. And actually, in these past couple of years, I've been out in the woods, I've been fishing, I've been adventuring, and that has sort of been what's led me to do this with it. I bought a Pelican 1040 case. You can remember it because it's like the tax form, 1040. And I have put all of my last ditch survival gear in here. It is shockproof. I would just say shock resistant, and it is waterproof. And so everything in here, there used to be other electronics with the phone charger. Now it's all in here. And I'm very happy with this system. Worst comes to worst, I can grab this out of my bag and fit it into a pocket or something and walk away and still know that I could probably survive the night depending on the weather. So what's in here? Boom. First, a headlamp. Just your basic El Cheapo Amazon headlamp. Doesn't have a battery right now. Next, some Gorilla Tape, which I wrap in a grocery bag to keep it from getting everything else sticky. An SOL emergency bivy, which is basically a glorified space blanket. I've actually never tested this, but I have tested space blankets, and yeah, I mean, it would suck, but I think I could live through a night with one. Now I have next up, 4 batteries that fit both the headlamp and the flashlight. After that, boom, $100 in cash, because you never know when you might have to bribe a guard to let you over the wall. Last but not least, I have a basic damn Bic lighter, and I keep it in the sealed bag so that I know that I've never used it before. I know it's a full lighter. Now, it could still leak, and I should probably actually replace this one already. I think it's a good idea to date your lighters and probably test them. I should probably test them, but a damn Bic lighter in Survivor Orange will get you out of a lot of trouble. If your lighter fails, I think that everybody who goes out in the woods needs this. You need some tinder. These are cotton balls soaked in Vaseline, petroleum jelly, and you need a ferro rod, a fire steel, and I keep it on a high-vis Survivor Orange lanyard, and this is the Schrade fire steel, and I've had mixed results with these, but this one has worked really well every time. Easy to light a fire. Well, if you know how to do it, easy to light a fire. And yeah, that's everything in the bag, y'all. That's it. That's all I carry. No guns, no razor wire, no landmines, nothing like that. Now I gotta put all that shit back together. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you think I'm a crazy, crazy prepper. Let me know if you think I'm not prepared enough. And keep the ends out for the ties that bind.